All right, folks, welcome back to the channel. You found us here at KGB Customs, home of what we believe is some of the best custom gun content on the web. We share these custom guns in hopes of sharing some knowledge and to catalog some of the great pieces that come through our shop. We appreciate you joining us. If you haven't already, we'd like to invite you to subscribe to the channel. We get a lot of viewership here that is not subscribed, according to our analytics anyway. And I'm fine with that. If you want to fly in and fly out, that's great. But if you get anything out of these videos, we'd appreciate you subscribing. Also, would ask you if you have anything nice to say, feel free to leave a comment. If you really like the stuff we present here, jump down to the description and sign up for our email list. We'll email you once, maybe twice a week tops with new exciting stuff that comes in around here. And you'll hear about it there first. These videos take a while to record and get posted, so email lists will get first notice. Today, we've got something totally out of the ordinary, at least for this channel and for this shop. I don't deal in too many cars, and not that I have anything against them. I carried one for quite a while. My wife carried one for a time. They're a great little single stack gun, and they were super cutting edge in their day. I just don't get that many of them anymore. With the advent of new double stack subcompact 9mm, the Kahr is, I guess, sort of lost in the noise. But the one thing the Kahr had that those other pistols didn't was they had what I believe is a reliable, safe trigger system. So they're kind of a double action only gun. You got a long rolling trigger. Feels just like a nicely tuned revolver. And this one being customized with a nice action job is really quite luxurious to pull through. This pistol was customized by Wilson Combat in the late 90s. Wilson Combat, maybe this might be one of their first pairings of packages on non-mainstream guns, so to speak. Of course, in the 90s, cars were far more mainstream than they are today. But Wilson has partnered on Beretta 92s and the customization thereof, SIG P320s. They've done Glock stuff as well as others. And the Kahr modifications were only on the menu a very short time, maybe a year, maybe two tops. I've read numbers online from people that either don't know anything or know exactly what they're talking about. It's hard to discern because it's the internet, that there were maybe 50 to 300 of these full house custom Kahr conversions done. This one is built on a K9, which is probably my favorite Kahr model. The K9 is an all steel gun, and they were introduced in 1993 by Justin Moon, whose given name was Kook Jin Moon, who was the son of Sun Myung Moon, who was the founder of the Unification Church. Just kind of is a backstory about his origin. So his father founded a church. I believe they were affectionately referred to as the Moonies because of his last name being Moon. He started shooting guns as a young teenager and obtained a concealed carry permit at 18, but was frustrated with the lack of compact, full-calibered handguns available. A lot of the compact handguns available, subcompact, pocketable automatics, were either grossly expensive, almost custom affairs, handmade guns, or they were 22s or 25s or 32s, some 380s. But he wanted something in 9mm that was pocketable. So he began designing his ideal pistol. He went to Harvard, graduated magna cum laude in economics, and started designing his pistol there. After earning his MBA in 1993, he refined that prototype and started a bit of a partnership with a company by the name of Salio, which was a metalworking machining firm who did aerospace type machining and design, and they helped him really refine the design and get the gun into a functional piece, and I guess probably did a fair bit of the machining for him. Kahr debuted these guns at the 1995 SHOT Show with its flagship model, the K9. It was an all-steel, double action only, striker-fired 9mm pistol, weighing 23 ounces, less than an inch wide, in a 7-round single-stack magazine. It featured his patented safe cam trigger system, which uses a rotating cam for safe striker operation, meaning that the striker can't go past the cam safety without it rotating out of place, and that's done by the longer double action trigger pull. The guns were interesting in that the barrel lug, the lower lug, was offset, which led to them being more compact because the trigger system can share some space in there with the lower lugs of the barrel. And think about the times. We have the Clinton assault weapons ban limiting new production guns to 10 rounds or less in the magazine. So there was no point trying to design a high capacity gun in the 90s because you couldn't sell them in full capacity form anyway. Couldn't sell them to anyone but law enforcement or military sales. In 1998, so only 3 years later, the Kahr Arms guns were approved as off-duty and backup carry by NYPD, which was a pretty huge approval to get on that list. Of course, most of the backup guns at that time would have been revolvers. This gun gave you 2 more rounds than a 6-shot revolver, and 3 more rounds, 7 plus 1, 8 total, 3 more rounds than a 5-shot J-frame, which was a considerable bit of extra firepower on hand. And the triggers were very similar to cops that were used to shooting those double action revolvers. This trigger, as I said, is tuned by Wilson. This trigger is only about 5 pounds total pull. So that's pre-travel. And the rest of that half inch or so there before break is a very smooth pull. No real stacking. Like once you get into it, it's pretty much sits at 5 pounds all the way back, which is pretty awesome. I really enjoy the way they feel, and I find them quite shootable. They also offered these guns in .40 caliber. I have encountered just one other of these Wilson customized ones, and it was a .40 caliber, which is not super pleasant in a subcompact single stack gun. A little bit about what Wilson did to them. Of course, basic reliability work to include polishing and truing up of some surfaces inside, ramps, and the extractor you'll see is bright polished here. This one has Ashley Express XS night sights on it, which were super popular in the early 2000s. They kind of follow the premise of express sights on a safari rifle, which would often have sort of a shallow V-notch, often with a ivory inlay or silver inlay, and then a large bead up front to lay in that trough. Very fast acquisition. Not the best sights for precision work, of course, but they would get the job done. And then, of course, fully tuned action. I think this trigger face was maybe radiused a bit. It's really got a nice radius on it, regardless of whether Kahr or Wilson did it. The gun is marked Wilson Custom there. The gun received a carry bevel. Again, deep concealment being the name of the game. The magwell is beveled out just as wide as you can get it. The front strap is perfectly hand-checkered, 30 lines an inch, which is a great addition to these little guns, giving you a little more traction against that muzzle rise. The gun doesn't slip away from you. It's a customizations package that I thought many years about doing in my own personal car. Now, I, of course, got caught up in the availability of double stack subcompact guns and bought a SIG P365. Never really fell in love with that gun and let it go sometime later, but I really, this gun's kind of inspiring me to go out and pick up one of these on the secondhand market and do a little something to it and make myself a nice little carry gun like this. The holster of this gun was worth sharing too. It is an Alessi CQCS, so these are a snap-on outside the waistband, so you can snap that whole gun and holster off if you're going into a non-permitting environment or just when you come home at the end of the day. The gun is finished in black armor tough, so Wilson's spray-on finish of the day over hard chrome. The hard chrome almost certainly done by Metalloy, Chris Peters, may he rest in peace, who was doing the hard chrome there in Arkansas for Wilson and other firms. Kahr Arms still producing these guns. They've got some new and some innovative stuff coming down the pipe as well. I know they're doing red dots now, and they have a target model which is larger. It's almost the size of like a Commander or 1911. And they have a smaller version too. They have an MK9, which is a one round shorter and a little shorter up here. And they also do polymer frame guns as of, I don't know, 2010 or something. They started the polymer frame guns. And the polymer frame guns are quite lightweight. I've carried one of those in the past as well. And yeah, I think they're a nice, reliable gun, and one that maybe doesn't get the credit it's owed. It sort of paved the way for a modern pocketable semi-automatic pistol. And I just think they're neat. I think any all-metal carry gun is just a little more interesting than the molded plastic stuff. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, maybe learned something. If you've seen one of these Wilsons out there, tell me about it. I like I said, I've only ever seen one other one on the market, and it was a 40 caliber, and that's been a while ago. I don't know how many Wilson did, but it wasn't very many. Otherwise, we'd be seeing them popping up. Thanks for tuning in.